Hi, this is TJ Lyons. I'm with DPR, and I'm also on the steering committee for Arizona State University and a NIOSH funded program we have on prevention through design. And we have a workshop this year, 2021, very unique. So last year we did our workshop at Arizona State University, successful workshop, but it was like the last flight out before the pandemic. And since then, the construction industry has learned a lot about how to work during some of the constraints that we're involved with here with the pandemic. But also how to keep incorporating these unique fundamentals of prevention through design into the buildings that we do. And a good example, right? You're gonna hear some best practices from a lot of people, but I want to just give you my favorite example. Is you can build a roof and people go up on the roof, they have to tie off, and you kind of hope they're safe, right? That's risk management. But if you build a roof and you put a parapet on the edge of the roof so no one can fall off the roof, that's risk elimination. And this year you're going to learn a lot of best practices similar to that. In fact, one of the speakers, they're talking about a program a couple years ago. They started incorporating prevention through design at the design phase into a facility they're building up near Boston, Massachusetts. They actually incorporated those these design interventions, I call them, these building elements, into a new laboratory they were building. Very successful, probably the first one in the United States. Not only are they going to talk about how that whole process worked from design to actual execution, but they shared 122 of these little best practices they picked up along the way, which is unique, right? This is the kind of stuff you're going to get from this workshop. Another great example of things you're going to hear is two speakers about their work on two very large airport expansion programs and how they were able to work, during pandemic to keep people on the site, but keep people distant on the site. Right? Very unique, and I think this is probably going to be one of my favorite presentations. Is that we came up with some very unique ways during the pandemic to keep working, to keep constructing here in the United States. And this ASU NIOSH workshop next week, or whenever it comes up, is probably going to be one of the better ways to grab some of these best practices and lessons learned from across the industry, specifically in prevention through design, and incorporate them into your project. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. This is the leading edge of safety. I always call it a game changer. And if you need to learn about prevention through design, the elements and the philosophy, this is the place to do that.